Hello, crafty friends, and happy Tuesday. I hope you guys are doing well today, and I'm glad you're here to join me. So as you're hopping on, say hello. I would love to hear where you're watching from, what's going on. Did you have a great 4th of July holiday weekend? I haven't seen you since the 4th last week, and so we had a great time doing the usual things. We did a little swimming and we watched fireworks. Man, the fireworks around here are just crazy. I like to let other people buy all the fireworks and then I sit out on my driveway and watch them, and it's great. And I don't have to worry about losing a finger. So we did set off a few fireworks just in our driveway, some of the little ones, and the kids did sparklers, and we ate good food and enjoyed the nice weather outdoors. So it was a good 4th and a good weekend. Let me get my comments going here so I can say hello to you guys as you're hopping on. I'd love to know, is this the first time you're watching? Give me a comment specifically if this is your first time watching a Tailored Expressions live. I know it depends on everybody's schedule. Sometimes you can catch it and sometimes you can't, but I always like to hear if we have any first time watchers. So, of course, if it's your 101st time watching, then you can leave a comment too and let me know. How many lives have you watched? You probably haven't been keeping track. Hello, Sherry. Good morning. Perry's out in Colorado. Hi, Dawn. Good to see you here today. Judy from Wisconsin. Hi, Jill. Cindy, it's your first time today. Welcome. Hello, Chandra. We have Michelle here and Tammy. We have Wendy and Carrie. Gina's here. Hi, Betty and Marilyn out in SoCal. Oh, Marilyn says she ordered her advent calendar, so we're going to chat about all the fun things we have going on at Tailored Expressions today. It's a busy day around here, and I'm excited to share it with you guys. I know lots of you have been looking forward to this. Maybe you have previously done one of our advent calendars, and maybe you're here because it's your first time. You heard about this advent calendar thing that we do, and you're here to get some more information. So I am excited to share it with you. All right, yay for the advent calendar, Kim says. Let's go ahead. Oh, good question from Pam. With the pre-order of the advent calendars, do they run out? No, the pre-order will not run out. It does go through July 23rd. So you have that amount of time from now until July 23rd to place your pre-order. And then we will be taking those pre-orders and making sure that you are guaranteed an advent calendar. So you are actually paying for your advent calendar now, which guarantees that we will have one to ship to you when we ship those in November. And yeah, okay, I think I answered that question. So they won't run out. You can get them anytime from now through the 23rd, and then we'll take that final number of pre-orders and start getting all of the items ordered so that we can get your advent calendar put together and out to you. So let's take a look at this. We just have this little graphic for you here that you can see. We have our advent calendar, which is available for $89. That is our pre-order price. So if you choose not to order during our pre-order period, we will have limited quantities of the advent calendar available in November to purchase, and it will go up in price to $99 at that time. And again, the quantities are limited. So if you know you want this, now is your best chance to guarantee yourself an advent calendar. You can find the advent calendars on tailoredexpressions.com. You can click on that banner that's on the center of our homepage, and that will get you to where to purchase the advent calendar. So a couple of sorry, I'm trying to get my camera back here. Okay, so a couple of kind of housekeeping items with the advent calendar. It would be so helpful if you guys, when you place your advent calendar pre-order, please place a separate order. That's going to help us expedite your shipping when it comes time. And for those that are pre-ordering the advent calendar, we have a special gift for you. So we know it's tempting when you're close to that $100 freebie level to add on a few extra products. But to make up for that this time, since we're asking you to place this order separately, we are going to include a special freebie with your advent calendar. So that would technically, or I guess hypothetically, take the place of your $100 freebie. So you will just be getting that when the advent calendar arrives at your doorstep. So please place those orders separately and don't add extra things onto your order. That would be so helpful. What else am I forgetting, Whitney?
I'm so excited.
I put you on the spot.
I'm reading all of the questions. Everyone's so excited. They're like, if you're on the fence, do it.
Oh,
I did
good.
it for the first time last year and I loved it. I'm just reading all the comments.
Okay.
I think you hit it. I think you hit everything.
Okay. Well, if you're not familiar with advent calendars in general or the Tailored Expressions advent calendar, the way that we do it is you get 25 small gifts that are wrapped in little bags. They come in a box to your door on sometime in November. Now, here's the key. Wait to open them until December 1st. I think, personally, it's so much more fun to have something to look forward to and open that gift each day during the month of December. So we have curated what comes in these packages to kind of work together. There's lots of useful items. You're going to get stamps and dies and stencils and some fun tools that you've never seen before. A lot of the items in our advent calendar, I would say 90% of the items in the advent calendar are things that you have never seen before. So they have not been already available for purchase and we're just giving you something from our inventory. That is not how it works. We have curated these bags and little gifts to work together, and then every Friday in December I get to do a fun live where we open the gifts together and we create a project using the items in the advent bags from that week. So you are welcome to open them each day of the month, and then on Friday we'll open them together. So until that Friday live, we ask for no spoilers in our social Fans of Tailored Expressions page so that we all get to enjoy the excitement together on Fridays. So it's a fun little thing in December. I love it. I love having that extra live during the holiday season. And you know, some of the products or projects that we'll make are applicable to things you're crafting for during the holiday season. So we love to give you useful, high quality things that you're going to reach for over and over again.
It's my most favorite time of the year.
It's great.
Crafting together on Fridays.
And I get to shop for new Christmas sweaters.
Yay!
That was one of my favorite parts of the lives last year also, was having a different Christmas sweater every Friday. So I can look forward to that, and hopefully it's fun for you guys too. So, all right, let's see. We've got lots of comments. I love to hear that those who have participated in the Advent calendar in the past have loved it. So if you're looking for some testimonials, just check back on those comments and join us this year. It's going to be super fun. So there you have it with the Advent calendar. Now, we're also celebrating Christmas in July, which every year around this time, we like to launch new designs on our TE Made For Me website. If you haven't heard of TE Made For Me, that is a-okay. I'm here to tell you about it today. We have a separate website, temadeforme.com, where you can buy personalized stamps. So we have lots of different designs, I think over 30 designs at this point.
Yes,
I didn't count, but there's a lot of them that you can choose from to stamp on the back of your cards. So lots of different funny ones. I know we've had lots of people say, I have about 8 different ones, depending on who the card is for or what the occasion is. They pick a different handmade by stamp for the back of their cards. So with Christmas in July, this is your time to order some of those Christmas and holiday themed personalized stamps, whether you want a return address stamp or you want something for the back of your cards, or an envelope seal. You can get all of those now, guaranteed to have them in plenty of time to start making your Christmas cards. So with our TE Made For Me website, because they are completely personalized, they do take up to 6 weeks to ship. So you will order and pay for your order today, and then you can receive them in about 4 to 6 weeks. We will get them shipped out to you. So our artists take time to put together exactly what you put into those fields that are available for you to customize, and then we get those stamps made. So I'm going to show you some of the new designs that we are launching today on TE Made For Me, along with a special promotion. Now, we only do this promotion about once a year, so now is your chance to buy one, get one half off from July 9th through the 16th. That's today through next Tuesday. You can purchase buy one, get one half off, and that applies if you want to get any multiples of 2. You can buy 12 and get 12 half off if you want to do that. We have 13 new designs, so here you see just a kind of small collection of what we have that's new. I'm going to point out in the top right of your screen, this one is one of my favorites, and if you check the different options on the website, there are some funny ones. You can personalize it just for you and what fuels you in your craft room. This one says, handmade by Whitney, fueled by coffee and chaos.
Which is 100% Whitney.
Yes, and there's mine that is a kind of a mock-up on the website that says handmade by Taylor, fueled by Dr. Pepper and Dateline. There's also handmade by Aaron, fueled by Nerds Clusters. I loved watching the fan page this weekend to see what all of you are fueled by in your craft room. So that's kind of a fun one that I am enjoying. Down in the bottom right corner, you will see our 100% handmade label. This was something that we gave away at Virtual Stamp Joy. If you were there, you now have the option to personalize it with your name, and then you get the small clear stamps that you can place inside that open square box to kind of personalize whatever type of project you have made. It's great for making tags for handmade gifts that you've knitted or sewed or painted. There's a little birthday present and an envelope if it's a card. So lots of options with that handmade stamp. So tons of fun. Check out the TE Made For Me website and find our new designs and get your BOGO, buy one, get one half off through next Tuesday. All right, some small things I know people always ask. TE Made For Me is separate from the Tailored Expressions website, which means you cannot use your crafty points, and it does not, what was the other thing? You can't use your crafty points, and you don't earn crafty points on those purchases on the TE Made For Me custom site. What else? What am I forgetting? Any questions?
Yes. Anne-Marie says, do we get the July or August postage stamp when you order? I think she's asking about custom stamps, but those do not come with those freebies as well.
Okay, the custom stamps do not come with the every order freebie since they're from that separate TE Made For Me website. For your advent calendar pre-order, you would be getting the July postage stamp with that. So in the month that you place your order is the every order freebie that you receive when the order ships. So if that was your question, there's the answer to that as well. Looks like we have some others that love to craft in coffee with coffee and chaos. Anna says mine is fueled by coffee and Audible. That's fun.
Oh, yes.
Emma says fueled by root beer and crime shows. I'm with you on that, Emma. I do love my crime shows and root beer. You know, root beer doesn't have caffeine in it though, so it's usually a second option for soda for me. All right, well, hopefully I answered everybody's questions, and if you have any more, feel free to leave them in the comments. Whitney and Charlie are monitoring, so they can always get those answered for you. Today, because we're talking lots about freebies, I am going to be using the freebie. We have our 100 plus freebie for the month of July, and maybe some of you have already earned that and you're looking for a new way to use that or some inspiration. I'm excited to show you a technique that I love, actually a couple different techniques that I packed into these cards I'm making today. And I just love this design of the layering stencil this month, and so we have lots of opportunities for you to earn this still coming in July. I am going to talk to you about Throwback Thursdays, which are making a comeback for the rest of the month. So there will be lots of opportunities to earn this $100 freebie if you haven't already. So let's take a look at my projects and get to creating. here they are. I made a couple different versions because I wanted to show you guys what it looks like stenciled on white and what it looks like stenciled on the toffee. And you see those shiny bits? Well, we are going to do one of my favorite techniques, which is applying our glitter grab through the stencil, and then we wait for it to dry and we place it through the ink machine to get those foiled bits on the stenciled design. So this,
So gorgeous.
And I had a special reason for making these today. It's my mom's birthday on Thursday. Whitney and I are taking her out, and I thought one of these cards would be perfect for her. I'm not sure.
The other one?
Yes. And then Whitney's birthday is in a couple weeks, so I have 2 cards. I'm ready.
Prepared. Stop.
Yes. I'm interested to hear if you have a favorite. If you're just looking at these for the first time, do you like the white better or do you like the toffee better? I think they're both, this one obviously I cut down to show you that you can cut that design out, or you can leave it on the whole size of the A2 and just place it on the card base. And I think both of them are equally pretty. This one you see a little bit more of the greenery, and this one you have space to layer it onto another die cut if you want. Okay, so this is what that stencil looks like. And this is your freebie for the month of July. It comes free with orders of $100 or more that do not include the advent calendar. So you guys will have to keep an eye out for our TBT weeks following this so that you can keep earning this stencil if you haven't already. It's called Summer Nights, and it has 4 layers that you can line up with the alignment squares. It is designed to fit on an A2 size panel, so it's not designed, even though the stencils are 6x6, the design doesn't go all the way to the edge of the stencil. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to do the toffee design for the live today because this allows me to show another fun technique. And this one is where you place down sugar cube pigment ink, which is our white pigment ink, and then you can place color on top of it, which really gives it that soft, pretty look and allows that true color of the ink to pop off of the toffee cardstock. You've seen probably Jill made a couple of cards using dark cardstocks, like I think she used blueberry for one maybe, and she placed the white ink over the top of the blueberry and then placed color on top of that. Whitney, if you're feeling like a run downstairs, yes, I could show them that sample, but I think it's in the studio behind the register.
Okay, I'll grab it.
Whitney's super fast. She'll be back before you know it. Okay, so we're going to place this down then with a little bit of, just a little bit of adhesive on my glass mat. And it's not, maybe I'll center it for you on the screen here a little bit better. But this works really well on the glass board to have these markings where you can center the A2 inside of the lines. And then you have your layering stencil that is built with the pattern already centered for you. So if you just use those 6x6 markings here, you don't even need the alignment squares. We're going to get this to work without using the alignment squares because I'm just going to line up each stencil, making sure the etched item number is down here in the corner. And then I'm going to place this down with some teal tape. I can also use the magnets, but for me, I like the kind of predictability that the teal tape gives me, and sometimes I feel like I have to move my magnets down or around quite a bit. But here's what those magnets look like, so we can put them in place, maybe even in the middle here, to hold that stencil down. All right, so the colors I'm going to be using today, I need, all right, I had to grab my ink stand, but I'm going to be using green tea for this first layer of greenery. You found it?
I ran. I loved them all. I brought them all.
Here are a couple more that I did share with you, I believe last Tuesday when this freebie launched. And this is where Jill took the blueberry and blue corn, and she placed white ink first, and then the colored ink on top of that really allows the color to pop off of those dark pieces instead of soaking into the cardstock and losing the true color of the ink pad. So some more inspiration for you there. I'm just going to use my bitty blender brushes today because there aren't a ton of openings and these cover pretty well. All right, Whitney, is it time?
I think so. Should I announce what we're going to do today?
Okay.
Friends, we are embarking on a journey. We are going to do a throwback. We decided we're going to throw back to the early days of Taylor being on Facebook Lives and do something that maybe some of you can comment if you remember this. But we are going to do a session of Ask T, where we ask Taylor random crafty questions and try to glean wisdom.
Yes, it's been a few years now since we did this. I guess you could call it a feature, but we had customers who could send in questions, and then I would answer them during the lives. And, you know, I answered a lot of questions, and then we kind of got away from that for a little while, and we thought it would be fun to bring that back today with several questions. And I don't know, Whitney, I think spouted off a few of these questions ahead of time, but for the most part, I don't know what's coming. So
you a little nervous?
if I fumble, forgive me. Or if I want to change my answer later, then
Amendment.
Yes, I can amend my answer later after I've had more time to consider it.
I know, some of these are tough. This first one really got me.
Okay.
So your first question. Would you rather go 1 month without a Misty or 1 month without a die cutting machine? And to that I say neither.
Neither, please. But if
in a situation where you're on a stranded island.
I love these fake would you rathers that really they're just kind of fun to think about, even though we probably won't ever have to go without both of those things. Okay, let's see. I love both of those tools equally. However, I think if I didn't have a die cut machine, there's a lot of stamping that I couldn't enjoy, if that makes sense. So I think I would say I would go without my Misty. I think I can figure out how to stamp backgrounds, and I can stamp sentiments pretty good. I could bring out my old Stamp-A-Majig.
Oh, yes.
So I would say I would not want to be without a die cut machine. I want something to cut out my sentiments and something to cut out all of the extras that we put on our cards, the layers and all of those things. Without a die cut machine, that would be tough.
I agree.
All right, so there's that first layer. If you didn't catch that, I added a little bit of sour gummy into those leaves, and now I'm going to pull out layer 2 of the stencil, and with my item number down here, this should just pop right into place. You can kind of see where those leaves are going based on what we've already put down for color, and then we'll go ahead and take that down. And this time, my color is going to be Brussels sprout.
All right, second question. When you were a baby beginner paper crafter, what was one tool that got you started, that you really stuck with? Woo!
I think I've talked about this before. But I feel like I've called this the gateway to card making or crafting because it was just so enamoring at the beginning when I was like, oh, look at this. But it would be for me heat embossing.
Woo!
And that is one of the first techniques that I explored really in depth because Mom and I saw a demonstration at a store of somebody heat embossing, and then we decided it would be a great idea to heat emboss my 325 thank you notes for our wedding. So after that, I really hated embossing for a while. No, it was magical though to see the powder heat and just how it looks, the kind of glossiness. I think it makes your card look really fancy without a lot of effort. So that would be kind of my new beginner baby crafter that is still something that I use today. I think when I was more of a newer crafter many years ago, 15, 20 years ago now? Yeah. I didn't want to say 20, but it's been 20. But another thing that was popular at that time were those metal plates that you would use on a light board with a stylus, and then you could use chalks to color them in. That's kind of a technique that has gone by the wayside a little bit since I started crafting, but that was another of the first demos that I saw when I was a new crafter. That was fun. Okay, let's line up number 3. I got to talk about this one a little bit because this is where we're going to apply the pigment ink through the stencil layer here. We're going to do the white ink first, and then I need to wash the stencil layer, make sure my panel is dry, and then we'll do the colored ink over the top. So this step takes a little bit of time, but I think it's well worth it. Okay, so pigment ink. Here it is, sugar cube. I'm using another favorite tool that we have not released yet, but everybody seems to love it, and I just need to get on placing that order to get all of these in stock so that we can all enjoy them. But those of you that did our Stamp Joy virtual event this spring, you have one of these already. And I love using it for pouncing pigment inks because these are a little, I don't know, I guess the non-technical word for them is goopy. They're a little bit more of a goopy ink where the dye ink just kind of smooths over your paper. This one, it kind of tends to pull at your paper when you're trying to brush it on, which is why I like to pounce it on. So then once I get this done, I'll take this off and we are going to dry this just to kind of move the process along a little bit while I'm on the live. You don't have to do this. You could set it aside and let it kind of air dry, soak into your paper. But before you apply the colored ink over the top of your pigment ink, you need to make sure the pigment ink is dry. So I'm going to take my heat tool and just heat this up a little bit. All right, pigment ink can be a little tricky to tell if it's dry, so I usually just take my finger and kind of press into it, and if it's not coming away with ink on it, then I know that it's dry. Let's take this now and wash it before we begin the colored part of this. Anne-Marie asked a question, do the darker inks give any color off on the white ink pad when you pounce it? Yes, they will. So if you are trying to use one pouncer for multiple colors, you will want to keep one nice and tidy white for specifically for your pigment ink pad. So you don't get that splotch of color on your nice white ink pad. You know what, actually, I'm just gonna do, oh, a baby wipe? Can I have a baby wipe instead? There's none in there. A baby wipe is a little bit easier to get this type of ink off of the stencils. Thank you. And this particular stencil with the layer of flowers has some pokey pieces in it, so you just want to be really gentle with your stencil and kind of go in the direction of the pokies instead of pulling in the opposite direction where you can kind of grab at it and cause yourself some problems. Okay, so we'll go ahead and dry that off. Takes a little bit longer to dry since I did the baby wipe, but I think we're good now. Okay, we'll bring back this panel. Again, center it inside that black line and place this back down right over the top of the sugar cube ink that we've already put down. Tack that into place with the teal tape, and then I'm going to be using two different purple inks. My personal favorites, we're going to start with the lighter of this color family, which is Macaron, and we're going to blend that over the top of the white. And this purple ink is just going to sit right on top, causing a nice, or creating a nice kind of feathery looking flower. It's not super intense because you've got it kind of mixing with the white underneath. So the darker you want your color, you'll want to choose a more intense ink because it is lightening up the color that you're used to seeing on white paper. All right, we're getting there. I can't forget these little sparkles in the background either. Sometimes I forget to blend those.
That's my favorite part. I love little
twinkles. The little sparkles.
Yes, it pulls it all together.
Yeah, I love that they're perfectly placed, and even if you wanted to add in some drip drops, you can use those and just put your drip drops kind of over the top of what's already there, and it'll give you nice spacing. All right, dried fig then. We're gonna take our bitty blender again, and this time I'm going to come in from the top of each of these cone flowers and kind of pull that darker color down onto the top to give us that dimension. This will be a fun reveal when we take this one off. All right, let's see how we did. Gail says, I almost forgot it's Tuesday, but I'm here now. Oh, and Kimberly wants to comment about how you love my purple nails. Look how well it matches the card today. I forget if it was Susan who said yesterday, your nails match your card that you made, which I think is great. But I'll also point out that I played volleyball. I play outdoor sand volleyball in the summertime, and I broke half of a nail last night on one of my swings, and it kind of hurt. So if you see only half a nail there, sorry, I didn't have time to get that fixed before the live today. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and wipe this one more time. And you guys saw what that looks like. Doesn't it look so airy and so pretty? I love those purples. So great. All right, so we still have, maybe we need a little bit more adhesive there. I've kind of wiped that off so far. And we'll keep placing this down right in the center. And I have that final layer, and this is the kind of, I'm packing all the techniques into this one stencil, but you can see how this last piece is kind of the flower centers, the cones of the centers of the cone flowers. And then it has lots of those little sparkle pieces on it as well. And sometimes you want a little bit of sparkle. And in this case, the way to allow yourself to foil the pattern is by using our glitter grab. So this is what glitter grab looks like, and it's named glitter grab because it's basically an adhesive that you can apply through a stencil. You can sprinkle glitter over the top of it, and the glitter grabs to the glitter grab and then dries, and you have a sparkly glittery layer. If you want to do it that way, you certainly can. If you don't have a mink machine or you don't do foiling, that's a great way to still use your glitter grab. But the other great thing about glitter grab is it also works. You can see on the packaging, bonus, glitter grab can also be used for heat foiling. So you can apply it through any stencil that you have, let it dry. Once it's completely dry, you can send it through your heat source with the foil on top, and it's going to adhere to all of the parts of the glitter grab. I have some tips for you as we get to applying the glitter grab, but I want to make sure I get this lined up just right. Okay, so I'm going to be using the Nuvo Media spatula for this. I prefer the one with the angled piece at the top. They do have a flat spatula too. They come in a set of 2. I just find myself grabbing for this one because it's easy to get into the jar and easy to apply. So you will find, I've used this a lot, but you will find that it comes with this little disc on the top of it, which is going to seal your tub to the air, or your jar to the air, so that the air cannot get to that and dry it out. So keep this and continue to apply it over the top when you're finished using it, and you'll be able to get lots of use out of your product. So I'm just going to take a little bit out of there because there aren't a lot of stencil openings here. And we're going to start from the top and just pull down into those openings. And once you feel like I'm kind of out of usable, I can scrape off some from the sides and really try to use everything that I took out of the jar before I go back and get more. So I'm trying to just scrape over these kind of open solid parts of the stencil to get more of that medium that I can then apply farther down. So feel pretty good about that. Just gonna smooth it out a little bit.
I love how glitter grab just extends the use of your stencils. It's just like, yeah, you can add that beautiful shimmer to like your layer.
To anything.
Yes.
Yeah. When you have a layering stencil, it is a little bit more of a, before you start, you kind of want to determine which layer is going to be your glitter grab and do that one at the end. Typically, we include these smaller pieces as the last layer of the stencil, but you can even shift the way that you do it because you cannot move on now until this dries. So you kind of want it to be your last step when it comes to a layering stencil. And what we are going to do, I'm going to have to hand this to you because
yes, I'll wash it up.
It's icky. You do want to get this washed right away, otherwise it just makes it harder on yourself later to have kind of dried on paste. So thank you, Whitney, for taking that. Let me pull this up into the camera here and you can see what that looks like. So we got a little bit of a smush down here, but it's just one of those sparkle pieces, so I think it'll be fine once it gets some foil on it. But yeah, this needs to dry. So I did another one of these panels so that we could use it completely dry on the live today. So I'm going to pull that in and show you what it looks like when it's dry. It will lose its kind of white milky appearance and it will dry clear onto your cardstock. So this one over here is completely dry. And now we can use this to apply the foil on top. This one, I'm gonna put way out of the way.
Yes, no bumping
so
it.
we don't bump that.
Did you say about how long it takes for that to dry?
It takes about 20 minutes, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes. I was trying to think when I did these how long it took, but you know, you get busy doing other things and then I don't check back and then I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's dry, but I don't know exactly how long that took. So yeah, I would say about 15 to 20 minutes to get completely dry. Okay, so we're gonna get out the Mink machine now, move some of this other stuff out of the way that we're done with. I've got my mini Mink and we'll get this turned on and heat it up to a 3.
Pam had a great question. She said, so when you're applying glitter to the glitter grab, you want the glitter grab to be wet.
True, yes. If you're using glitter with the glitter grab, definitely apply the glitter right away after you take your stencil off and then let it dry after you put the glitter on. That's a good question. If you're applying foil, it needs to be completely dry to do that step. And another little tip, if you're applying glitter to your panel, you may want to powder it before you put that paste through the stencil layer. And that's just going to allow your glitter to fall off of the areas where you want it to leave. It's only going to stick to the glitter grab parts, kind of like when you do heat embossing. You condition your cardstock first so that powder falls off easily. And you can do the same thing with the loose glitter. You can powder your cardstock first so that it's primed and ready for that glitter to just fall off after you apply it. Okay, so I need foil. I lost track of where I was going. Rachel asked if you can use a heat tool to dry this. You can try. It does bubble. It's an adhesive product, so it will bubble, but you can speed it along, especially if you stay far enough away from it. If you get the heat too close to it and it bubbles, then it's going to make the finish of your foil look bumpy. All right, so I'm going to use Champagne Fun Foil today. Pam asked if you can apply the foil without using heat. You cannot apply the foil using glitter grab without the heat. So the way this product works, it needs heat to apply the foil to the glitter grab. The thing that I do love about the glitter grab, I've experienced this with some other products, and one thing that our glitter grab does really well is it keeps your design perfectly in the shape that you've applied it. So some of the products that I've used with the foil application, when they go through the heat source, they kind of mush into, I guess, more of a blob shape because that paste is being heated up and it's kind of melting the paste. This one does not melt your paste and make your design look blobby. It stays perfectly in the shape that you have applied it. All right, so we're all heated up. I've got my Foil Magic shim, my panel, foil over the top. This is the folded edge of my carrier sheet that I'm going to push through until it grabs, and then it's going to go through, take a couple seconds here, see if I missed any other questions. Somebody asked, did you at least win the game you broke your nail playing? We did win the game, so we finished our league in first place last night. Hooray. All right, so there we go. Done. We'll do like we do with our other foilet panels. When we take this out, we want to give it a little time to rest and just cool off. So I'm going to go ahead and, Susan catches me on this every time. I don't know why. It's probably not necessary, but I always move it down to 0 and then I turn it off. It's odd, I know, but you don't have to do that. I think you can just turn it off when you're done using it, but I have this weird habit of pushing it down to 0 and then turning it off. Okay, so now this is dry or cool to the touch, and we can peel this back to reveal the foil on those pieces. Isn't that pretty? I love using this layer too because it's not too overwhelming with the amount of foil. I think if you tried to foil some of the leafy layers, it might just be too much foil. So this is like a nice little smattering of foil on this stencil layer. So there we go. Now we can finish up the rest of the card. And I think there are lots of ways that you could do this. I might actually try this one a little bit differently than I did with this original card. Originally, I stamped this in sugar cube just directly on the background. And I think what I'm going to do today is actually emboss it in white. So we'll pull out the Misty here. Have one of my favorite oldie but goodies. Whitney, can you grab my that clear piece Misty grid panel?
Yes.
I think it's behind the big shot in the little caddy back there. All right. Because we're stamping this directly on this beautiful panel that's all done, I want to make sure I have it in just the right spot. So I'm going to take my Misty clear alignment panel. I think I called it a Misty grid panel, and then I remembered the real name is the Misty clear alignment panels. These come in a set on our website, so you get lots of different sizes, and some of them have grids printed in the lamination. But I'm just going to take and place this over the top so that when we put our sentiment down, we can stamp it and make sure that it is in the right spot. So this is my oldie but goodie favorite on occasion, and I'm going to use the happy birthday, which happens to fit just perfectly right in here. So make sure it's up high enough because I want to put a sentiment underneath. I want to save that space down there. And again, it's always movable because we're only stamping on this clear plastic for now. So I'm going to come over here quickly and make sure. I think that looks pretty straight to me. I need a piece underneath so that I can see the lines a little bit better. Okay. Now I'm going to take and stamp that. I think I'll stamp it in sugar cube just so that I can see exactly what that color is going to look like. So there's what that looks like. Oh, I've got a lot of magnets over here. So here's what that looks like, stamped onto the clear plastic. I think it looks just perfect. Again, there's more space down here because I have a little mini strip that I'm going to put down there. But I think I feel comfortable now moving this plastic out of the way. And I am going to powder this. We'll go ahead and put that magnet in place. I'm going to powder the middle here because we are going to emboss that. And I'm going to stamp it in the sugar cube. When I heat this, I will want to be careful. I also am going to need a piece of scratch paper.
Yes.
We're going to want to be careful, like I said, when I'm heating this so that we don't cause any issues with the foil. But this is just white pigment ink. Again, it's that goopy ink so that it stays wet longer and I can use it to emboss. So here's what it would look like stamped just in white. And I want it to be a little bit more vibrant, so I'm going to go ahead and try embossing it in white. So we'll go ahead and heat that up then. So maybe you're trying to answer this question, or can you use embossing powder on glitter grab and then heat set it with your heat gun? I don't think I would try that. If I wanted to emboss through a stencil, I would just apply the Versamark ink and put the embossing powder over the top. Everything is worth a try. It's actually not something I've tried before, but I would try it on something that you are okay ruining. I can kind of imagine that the glitter grab might bubble up as you heat set it, and you might get kind of almost like a liquid applique look to your embossing powder. I don't think it's going to give you that smooth look of traditional heat embossing with Versamark ink. But I'll never say don't try it. You can always try it. I'm gonna try and stay, I might go from the back on this one just so that I'm not bothering the foil as I heat this. Try to move on quickly. All right. I like how that pops. That just looks a little more bright and gives it that nice crisp white pop. That the first version that I did had the more muted, which is just the sugar cube on the toffee. So something to play with. I'm gonna grab my splatter box because I can't get away without splattering. I really am pulling out all the Heather tricks today, and I have come to love splatter lately. Splatter in gold, splatter in white, splatter in black. We have all of them. I know Heather does a lot of splattering with chocolate truffle liquid watercolor too, so I'll have to throw that one in my arsenal as well. Okay, so I have that Dr. P.H. Martin's mixed with a little bit of water. I'm gonna bring in my splatter box here. And we're just gonna give this a nice light splatter. As I'm splattering, I like to start off of my paper so that the first drops falling off of my brush, which are usually the biggest ones, are falling off of my paper and not, right in the middle. I want a nice light splatter. So I start by tapping really lightly on the brush, and then as more of the medium leaves the bristles, I tap harder to get more of those fine splatters on my cardstock. Splattering can be a practiced skill, even though it is supposed to look very random. There are some tips that you can try that I just shared with you to have a little better outcome so you don't get those big blotches and you have that more even, very fine splatter. When you have that detail in your pattern already, you don't want your splatters to be the first thing that you see. So there's what that looks like. All right, I am going to grab let's do the mini Misty this time. I better set this farther away so I don't mess it up. We're going to stamp our sentiment. I'm using another oldie, but a goodie, Mini Strips You're the Best. So there are so many in here that pertain to my mom and her birthday, but I went with a couple options. Are the top two, mostly because I really liked the size of those in relation to the sentiment itself. So happy birthday, cheers to you. Happy birthday, I love you. Which one do you want, Whitney?
Cheers!
Or now I feel like I have to make you something different because you've already seen this. So,
no, because now you know I like it.
True. And if there's anyone in the world that knows how much time I have to make cards and how small it is, you will love the card that I've already made for you.
I know.
All right, so I have here the Brussels sprout is the color of the cardstock that I'm using. I'm gonna powder that. And then we're gonna stamp this Mini Strips You're the Best with Versamark ink, and then we'll white emboss that. know what conversation this was pertaining to, but my cat ate the end of my spatula. Oh no, your Nuvo spatula?
Yes.
I just saw that comment. Yikes. Is your cat okay? Or just bit it. Maybe your cat just bit it, not like took it off and ate it. I'm thinking that's a big piece to eat. Okay, I feel good about that on the first try, so we'll take that out and go ahead and powder this with embossing powder. This is our white fine detail embossing powder, and I will be the first to tell you, not all embossing powders are created equally. And if you are having struggles with embossing powder, make sure, or with embossing, heat embossing, one of the things you might try is actually changing the embossing powder. So this one is very fine ground, which makes it great for sentiments like this where the lettering is very fine. So you don't want a chunky embossing powder applied to a sentiment with fine lines because it's gonna make it look chunky. So let's go ahead and heat this. I'm gonna let this set for a couple of seconds here, but then I'm gonna show you, this is one of the steps I do, especially on dark cardstocks when I'm embossing. I take a clean cloth, this is our microfiber cleaning cloth that is not used for cleaning stamps, and I just brush it across here to kind of buff off that powder residue from your powder tool, and it brings back the true, intense, dark color of whatever cardstock you've used. I'm going to grab the mini strips die then and my die cut machine. And then we're almost done here. Have I gone? Woo! Oh, I'm a little close today. I don't know why I have this like 11 o'clock time frame in my head that I have to be done by 11 or I'm keeping everyone from their grand plans for the day. But we'll run a little past today. All right, so I think I'm gonna go with the Cheers to You, since I already made the I Love You one for my mom. I do want to cut this down even just a little bit more. There's some extra space there on the end, and I liked it just a touch shorter, so I'm just gonna snip off the edges of this cut to make it a little bit shorter. Does anybody else do that ever? I fuss with the length of my sentiments quite often. Okay, so here's this piece, which is gonna get adhered right down here. Cheers to you. Have my thin foam tape. So let's start by putting 4 of these down the back. Oh, and guess what? I should have mentioned this at the beginning so that everybody would stick around. We have tea to spill.
I know.
Okay, I'm glad you know because you got to remind me to actually do it. So I did mention at the beginning that we have, we are bringing back Throwback Thursdays. this month, and that starts this week on Thursday. So get ready. What we would normally call our second chance release, which is when we offer the freebies, the 100 plus freebies that have previously been offered. That is when we would typically put those in a second chance release, but this time we are putting them into Throwback Thursdays and releasing those previously available freebies along with coordinates that go with them during each Throwback Thursday. All right, happy birthday. Cheers to you. Love it. Then I have my white card base here. I think, you know, if I didn't own Tailored Expressions and couldn't just go down to the warehouse and pick what I wanted when I needed it, this would be one thing that I order. These card bases that are pre-cut and scored for you make life so easy. And I love just grabbing them off the shelf. Whitney keeps them stocked for us, and that would be one of my, I feel like it's kind of the last thing you do, and it's nice to just check that step off easily and not fuss with getting out all the tools and cutting the cardstock and doing the scoring and etc. So highly recommend the pre-cut card bases that come in both the top fold and the side fold, so you can pick how you like your fold. There we go. What do you think?
Woo!
I never got to share some of my custom stamps, so these are a few that I have. I have a few, don't I?
You do.
Yes, I sure do.
You like too many of them.
Yeah. Sometimes if we have extra room on a plate, they'll say, Taylor, do you want another one? Well, of course. Another idea that I have for everybody that I think I've seen several people do, but I know a lot of you make cards specifically for your kids and your grandkids, and having your first name on there isn't maybe the most applicable way that your kids or grandkids would refer to you. So I've seen lots of ones, and I did one for myself also that says handmade by mom, or you can do handmade by grandma or nana or whatever name you go by, but it doesn't have to be your first name either. So that is one little kind of idea for you. Some of the ones that are my favorites are the snarky or funny ones. This one says a certified product of Taylor's overthinking. We know we all overthink our cards way too much. This one says this card from Taylor is late because supply chain issues. Yes, that's it. That's the reason. And then this one, I don't know, do we have this one anymore? The big grumpy one?
I thought I saw it on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I checked this morning.
Okay. Big Grumpy says, handmade by Taylor because I felt obligated. And because deep down I like you.
Ah.
So some really funny ones, and also some really just pretty ones. You've got the wreaths. There are some handmade for the holidays by Taylor. Lots of things you can get for different times of year. There are some great ones for those of you that lend out your books, or maybe your kids have a library of books and you want to stamp their books. There's some good library loaner ones in there as well. All right, are we ready for the tea?
Yes!
Okay, so there's the card we made today. Let's put that out of the way. So the Throwback Thursday for this week is going to feature freebies that were previously offered in January and February of this year. Anybody remember these? Dun dun dun.
Woo! Woo!
Aren't they so cute? Yes, so you will see those freebies available for purchase if you don't already have them, and then we will also have coordinating items to go with them that were not previously available at the time of their release. So I know lots of you have been waiting for certain dies to come out that coordinate, and all that good stuff is coming your way Thursday. And those releases happen the same time as our normal releases. So we have our Thursday at 9 a.m. And then also we've got the live on Thursday. So you'll get to hang out and see a project that Heather has created on Thursday at 10. So we are super excited about it. Keep joining us. We've got fun things happening Tuesdays and Thursdays in July. So we have some fun things to be doing to get a reprieve from all the hot weather, because it's going to get hot around here. All right, you guys, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Grab your advent calendar while that pre-order is available through July 23rd, and I will see you later. Oh, one more thing. Combo Club. If you guys are part of our Combo Club, we have our Combo Club live on Friday this week, so mark your calendar. I will be here sharing the latest, and I can't wait to see you then. All right, bye everybody.